How is she doing today?
She's getting better, but she's still recovering. Please let her rest a bit during your visit, okay?
Of course.
I'll be back later with your medicine.
Thank you.
What a beautiful song.
Hello, Iris.
Oh,
Don't strain yourself. Let me get that for you.
oh, nonsense. I'm still well enough to turn off the radio.
I brought you something. They're irises. Get it?
Thank you. These are beautiful. How was your day?
It went well. Why don't we put these in a vase?
Oh, you are so sweet. My husband used to buy me irises all the time.
Oh, really? I just got them for you because they have the same name as you. Funny, right?
You remind me a lot of my husband, Henry.
Really?
He was the sweetest thing. His smile could light up any room.
He sounds like a great guy.
The greatest. Have I ever told you about the story of my first love?
Your husband?
No.
Oh. Who then?
We met my freshman year of college. Oh, maybe you don't want to hear the story.
No, please. Go on.
He was an awkward sort of fellow. I remember the time he asked me out. He came up to me after lecture. His knees were shaking. He mumbled something to me. He kept wiping his hands on his trousers. His hands were so sweaty. It was so cute that I just burst out laughing. I just couldn't help it. It was so adorable. His face fell. But I did say yes after I stopped laughing. I guess that was pretty mean, huh?
A little. But you went out with him.
Yes. We spent 3 amazing years together. He was supportive, caring, and he was my best friend. I could tell him anything. At the end of a long, stressful day, I could come home to someone or call him. He was my rock.
Are you okay?
Yes, I'm sorry.
You don't need to cry, but what happened after that?
I decided to spend my senior year abroad as part of a year-long exchange program. He supported me entirely. We even made plans for him to visit. But
What?
I felt so lonely there. I would call him all the time to check up on him. I thought of the worst. I was afraid that he was only 2. I was afraid he'd forget about me. I was afraid that he would find someone else.
What happened?
One night, I called him for like the 15th time that night. He finally picked up the phone when...
You don't have to tell me if you don't want to.
It's okay. He just sounded flustered. There was definitely something wrong. I asked him why hadn't he picked up the phone and why hadn't I heard from him in a while? And he kept talking about this letter that he sent me, but I never received anything from him. I could just feel that there was someone else in the room. So I asked him, "Are you with someone else right now?" He said no, and changed the subject. But I could just feel that there was someone else beside him. I kept pressing him about it, but he would keep on changing the subject. And then I just lost it. He was seeing someone else behind my back, and he kept on making excuses and explanations, but I wouldn't hear any of it, so I just hung up.
understand.
No, you don't! I'm sorry. I shouldn't have snapped at you like that. You didn't deserve any of it.
Don't worry about it. I know what it's like to be hurt by someone that you love.
Really?
It was love at first sight. She had a radiance to her, and a beautiful smile. The most beautiful smile.
She sounds wonderful.
She was. The first time we met, we were at a party. I was walking around, and she caught my eye. She had long, dark hair, gorgeous brown eyes, and a tiny smirk on her face, like she knew something that I didn't. I fell hopelessly in love with her. Problem was, she had a boyfriend. But we became good friends. We would talk about everything. She would tell me about her dreams, her fears, her boyfriend. She would always find a way to bring him back up. And she sounded so happy, and yet so very lonely. She would tell me how she would feel insecure, and I wish there was something I could do about it. I didn't care that she had a boyfriend. I loved spending time with her. I just wanted to make her happy. One night, she called me. She was drunk, and she needed someone to get her home safely. So, I drove over, and I picked her up, and I drove her over to her apartment. As I was leaving, I noticed she hadn't picked up her mail. So I picked it up, and I brought it to her desk. One of the envelopes caught my eye. It was a letter from her boyfriend.
Wait, this sounds just...
But I put the letter on top of the pile, and I left. I knew that she loved and she missed him so very much, and I knew the letter would mean the world to her. It didn't matter how much I loved her. The next day, she called and said she needed to go back home immediately. That was the last time I ever spoke to her.
Wow. I'm sorry. What is this?
It's a letter that your husband, Henry, wanted me to give to you.
I can't really read things anymore. My eyes, they aren't what they used to be. Could you please read this for me?
Of course. sure your husband had his reasons for doing so. But I'm sure he didn't mean to keep it from you for so long.
Thank you for everything, but right now, I would really, really like to be left alone. Please.
Of course. I'm very sorry. I'll be back again tomorrow. Please get some rest, Iris.
Mr. Lewis, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to intrude.
It's okay, Taylor.
I don't mean to be nosy, but why do you pretend that you aren't her husband?
Scared. Just scared she might say if I told her the truth.
Why?
I took that letter. Never put it back. She was the girl that I fell in love with. The one I married. The one sitting in that room. The one that could never forget her first love. And I love her. Doesn't get any simpler than that.
I don't understand.
Maybe one day you will.